Hello students, here I am to present another module of our video lectures of information theory from our topic digital communication. Okay, this video contains the error-free communication implementation, or it is also referred as error-free communication over noisy channel. In books or syllabus, you can see the topic is mentioned as error-free communication over a noisy channel. The next topic is binary symmetric channel capacity of binary symmetric channel, and mutual information. The last topic is channel capacity of a DMS, or as we have earlier discussed, discrete memoryless source. Okay. Before we start this video, I would like to know whether you have solved the problems given in previous video for Shannon-Fano coding and Huffman. If it is so, you have solved, then it is okay. And if you are not able to solve it, please contact me, or you can also post your comments in the comment section of the video. Okay. Let's start. Error-free communication over noisy channel. The discussion starts from the last topic, source coding theory. In source coding theorem, we have seen that ideally the average length for a code word must be equal to source entropy h of x. Okay. If someone says that he had generated a code word in which every code word and average code word length is equal to h of x, then what is the then what is the efficiency in this case? The efficiency was defined as the ratio of entropy and average length. Hence, it is given as h of x upon L average, or h of x upon h of x. In this case, the efficiency becomes 1 or 100%. Okay. What is the redundancy? We have defined the redundancy as gamma, or 1 minus eta. It is 0 here. But in this condition, we cannot detect error in the data. How the statement is written, let me explain you. Just consider the case. Here we have a transmitter, here we have a receiver, this is our channel. Okay. Just consider the average code word length or entropy h of x. If h of x is 2, then we are going to discuss two cases. This is the first case, and here we will discuss another case. In this case, the transmitter and receiver are present with channel. The h of x is 2, and the code words 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. In this case, L average is equal to also 2, and individual lengths are also 2. Okay. Individual lengths are also 2. Now, if we transmit 1 1 and channel always produce some noise, and we transmit 1 1, but due to an error the received signal becomes 1 0. It means the second bit is affected by noise. In digital communication, the noise or error can be only defined by replacing 1 or 0 I, or by replacing 0 by 1. Okay. Here we have taken an example where the code word length is 2 bits. We have transmitted the data, but due to an error, is 1 bit is affected by noise and it is 0. What receiver can do is, in case receiver will identify 1 0 and he think that it is the transmitted data 10. Definitely it is the cases of it, but there is no possibility of error detection. If we are receiving 10, then we are forced, or we can say we have no option to detect or correct an error. Okay, hence there is no possibility of error detection. This is the first case in which no possibility of error. The same transmitter, the same receiver, and the same channel are present. Okay, again, since the transmitter is same, we will consider that h of x is equal to 2, and we have to transmit the data 1 1. What is the change in this case? In this case, we will add an extra bit in transmitted data called parity bit. This is the parity bit, and in most of the cases the transmitter and receiver have a predefined route of parity that we have to follow, odd parity or even parity. Okay. Just consider, if we are transmitting 1 1 and we are adding a parity bit, then the parity bit may be 1 and 0 depending upon the fact that the complete number of bits contain an odd number of 1. Okay, if we are considering these 2 bits, these are 1 and 1, 2 bits, hence their parity becomes 1. If the transmitted data was 1 0, then the number of data in the bits are 1. It is already a odd number, hence the parity bits becomes 0. So we can say that the parity bit may be 1 and 0 depending upon the fact that we have to meet odd parity in the transmitted data. Okay. Now the data is transmitted, and just like previous case, the second bit is again affected by noise. What receiver will do? Receiver check its parity. Okay. Receiver will check its parity. Now when the parity is checked, it is even number of ones and the parity is even, but we have to follow the odd parity rule. The number of ones in the received data must be odd. If the number of ones in the received data are even, we will say that error is present. Okay. Since odd parity rule is not defined, we will say the error is present in this case. This is called error detection. Okay. Let us see, if I see or if I can observe the parity bit and total number of bits for odd and even parity. Okay. If the parity is even, we can say the error is present. Then what is the next step? The receiver can request for retransmission. Okay. Receiver will say that the transmitter has to transmit the data again. It will transmit again, the parity will be again checked, and the process continues until the odd parity rule is satisfied. If someone says what is in the case, let me erase it, and for your doubt clearance, actually I am considering this additional thing, but in books or any other videos they will not discuss, since it is not part of our syllabus, but for your knowledge I am going to explain it. If someone says we have transmit 1 1 with parity bit 1, and here the received data is 1, 0, and the parity bits is also affected, then there is odd parity and receiver will say the data is right. You are definitely right. If it is a case where we have transmitted 3 bits and 2 bits are affected with noise, then we cannot detect that error. But in our syllabus, we have to consider only single error. Okay. We have to consider over only single error correction. In this case, we have seen single error detection, but in our syllabus, we will consider the case of single error correction. Okay. So, don't confuse with that. And now, just see. In the first case, we transmit 2 digits, okay, or h of x. That was also. In the second case, the h of x is still 2, but we transmit 3 bits. Then what is the average length? The average length becomes h of x plus 1. Now let me summarize and we will go to our slides. We can say that if the average length and entropy are equal, no possibility of error detection. But if the h of x is increased by 1 or increased by single parity bit, we can detect single error. Okay. Here it is. If we add a parity bit for parity checking, then we can detect error, but now the code word length becomes h of x plus 1. What is the efficiency? Eta becomes h of x with average, h of x ratio with L average. It is h of x upon h of x plus 1. Definitely it is less than 1 or it is not 100%. What is the redundancy? It is 1 minus eta, 1 minus efficiency. It is 1 upon h of x plus 1. Definitely it is not 0. So what we can say? We can say that if we are transmitting the data with according to source coding theorem h of x and average length equal, then in this case the source detection or error detection or error correction is not possible. But when error detection and error correction are possible, the efficiency becomes less than 100%. Hence, redundancy becomes non-zero. Okay. It is called error-free communication over noisy channel, and in single line we can summarize that if error-free transmission is required, then error-free communication or error-free transmission is possible only when efficiency is less than 100%. Okay. Now the next topic, binary symmetric channel. We can represent a binary symmetric channel by this model or its channel matrix. Let me explain you the binary symmetric channel first. Okay. Binary symmetric channel, or in short we write it as BSC. Since it is binary, it shows that transmitter has only 2 messages to transmit and receiver has to receive only 2 messages to receive. Okay. Now consider the transmission of 0. If we transmit 0 and receive 0, definitely there is correct. But if we transmit 0 and receive 1, what is it? It is not appropriate. It is error. Now consider about the probability of these two. Since if 0 is transmitted and 1 is received, it is error. It is written as PE or error probability. Okay. In most of our books or lectures, in our slides also, you will see that P is notated just as P. Okay, but remember it is called error probability since it represents the reception of 1 in the transmission of 0. If it is error probability, then what is the value of this probability? Definitely it is 1 minus P. Why? If we transmit 0 and there are only two symbols to receive 0 and 1, then P plus 1 minus P represents the probability of sum is equal to 1. It shows that if we transmit 0, then there must be a received signal and it may be 1 or it may be 0. If we receive 0, it is error free, but if we receive 1, definitely it is error and it will occur within probability of error P. Okay. Similarly, we can consider for 1. If 1 is transmitted and 1 is received, it is correct. But if 1 is transmitted and 0 is received, definitely it is probability of error. It is 1 minus P. It is called channel matrix for a BSC or binary symmetric channel. It is called channel matrix. Okay. Here we have written as input and output, but in our case transmitter receiver input output both are same. Actually input shows that the input to the transmission system and output shows the output to the transmission system. The 0 transmission and reception of 1 shows error probability P, and the 0 transmission and 0 reception shows 1 minus P. Similarly, we can consider for 1. Here the probability is written in mathematical terms. Probability is such that y is equal to 0 when 1 was transmitted, or probability is such that y is equal to 1 when the 0 is transmitted. Definitely probability of error, and it is P. Okay, it just consider it is X and it is Y. Input, output, transmitter, receiver can be represented as X and Y. Okay. The channel matrix. How we can write channel matrix? The probabilities can be arranged in the form of matrix. Just see, if we transmit 0 and receive 0, the probability is 1 minus P. Actually here it is written Q, but it is definitely 1 minus P. In most of the books they use two probabilities P and Q. Okay. But P 1 minus P, P 1 minus P, if it is written Q over here, definitely it will be finally written as 1 minus P wherever is required. Now just see, if we transmit 0 and receive 0, what is the probability of receiving? It is Q or 1 minus P, both are same. Similarly, if we transmit 0 and receive 1, what is the? It is error probability P. Okay. If we transmit 1 and receive 1, it is definitely free of error, 1 minus P or Q. If we transmit 1 and receive 0, it is error. It is called channel matrix for a binary symmetric channel, and this matrix is symmetric. Now the channel capacity. Actually we will explain in our article what is the channel capacity and how it can be measured, but since I have discussed binary symmetric channel first, and it is also suitable to discuss this first since it is easier than higher one. What is the channel capacity? See, actually if there is a transmitter and receiver, then the channel capacity shows the maximum capacity or capability that the channel can carry at once. If it is transmitter, it is receiver, and just say it is channel, then the maximum information, okay, the maximum, if the maximum information is transmitted, we can say the complete channel will be occupied. Then what is the channel capacity? Actually it is the maximum information that can be carried at once. What is the channel capacity of a binary symmetric channel? It is written over here, p log base 2 p1 minus p log base 2 upon 1 minus p. It means we have measured this information, we have measured this information, and since these two information will depend uncertainty, the channel capacity becomes 1 minus this one. Okay, you can directly write the relation for binary symmetric channel. We can also draw a curve for the binary symmetric channel capacity with respect to error probability. It will like this. It shows that the probability of error is 0.5 here when the channel capacity will be minimum. Okay. Now the next topic is mutual information. From here we have to discuss a source, transmitter, a receiver with multiple messages or multiple symbols that can be transmitted, but at a time only one signal can be transmitted. Okay. See, let us consider a transmitter and receiver such that, okay, source at transmitter we will have information source, and the source has n messages x1 x2 up to xn. Similarly the receiver has capability to receive, and the received signal is considered y1 y2 up to yn. What is the relation between x1 x2 xn up to y1 y2 yn? It is just like a mapping of what? Mapping of information. If we transmit x1, then the y1 is received. If we transmit x2, the y2 is received. If we transmit x3, the y3 is received. Okay. Here it is written, if with yk is equal to x, means if x1 is transmitted, y1 is received, no error. x2 is transmitted, y2 is received, no error. Similarly, it is a general representation for all the messages n. If yk and xk both are same, there is no error, or we can say that y1 is received with respect to x1, it is no error. But if the transmitted signal and received signal are not same, then it is definitely an error. Okay, it shows that the received signal is equal to transmitted signal, definitely there is no error. But if the received signal is not equal to transmitted signal, it is represented error. What is h of x and h of y? You already know. If there is a source x at transmitter and we have a receiver y with y1 y2 up to yn, the hy and hx represents the average information content. H of x is average information content at transmitting end, and h of y is average information at receiving end, and they can be calculated by using the relation of entropy. What is the error and why it is present? The error is just present due to noise or channel effect. Okay. How the error can be measured? I think all of you are aware of conditional probability, and its function. Just see this relation. Here we have considered h of x, y. It shows a conditional entropy for x when condition is taken as y. It is transmitter, it is receiver, and if x1 is transmitted, y1 is received, no error. Okay. And you can say in this case x1 and y1 both are equal also, but if x1 is transmitted and y2 is received, it is error. But it is a condition. Why? If x1 is transmitted and y2 is received, it is an error, and it can be represented by a condition that x1 is transmitted when the y2 is received. Similarly, we can consider y3, y4, and all these cases will belong to error. Okay. Now, this uncertainty is represented as loss. We can calculate loss for transmitted message as well as received messages. In our case, we are going to discuss uncertainty in transmitted message. Okay. This uncertainty h of x over y is equal to sigma of 0 to I, sigma of 0 to j, probability of xj or yj log base 2. Okay. See, it is just in conditional probability of xi and yj, and it consider all the case for xi and yj, and they are not equal. It means we cannot represent this equation in a single sigma, since we are considering I and j are as individual values. Okay. If you have studied unit 2, there the conditional probability is explained in detail, and you have also studied the conditional PDF. But if you have not studied, you will study further. Now this is the uncertainty. If someone says that he has measured the transmitted message entropy h of x, okay, and he also has measured uncertainty. Now just consider these two lines. If h of x is average transmitted information and you have calculated uncertainty, then what is the actual amount of information? Can you calculate? Definitely you can calculate by subtracting uncertainty. Since you can consider this uncertainty just as loss in the transmitted information. H of x is average transmitted information and uncertainty in transmitted information is loss. Hence the actual transmitted information, or we can say the actual information received, can be calculated. Okay. We will define it, but before defining it, let me discuss this matrix, since it is also an important matrix. We have considered channel matrix for binary symmetric channel. This is the channel matrix for a general case. Just see, we have the transmitted information as x1, x2 up to xn, and we have the received information or output as y1, y2 up to yn. If x1 is transmitted and y1 is received, it is definitely case of no error. It represents no error. Okay. But if x1 is transmitted and y2 is received, it is error. Similarly, if x1 is transmitted, y3 is received, it is also an error. And we have to consider all such probabilities up to YR or received message. Similarly, see, if x2 is transmitted and y1 is received, it is error. But if x2 is transmitted, y2 is received, definitely it is no error. I am highlighting the probabilities corresponding to no error condition. Okay. Now you can see, if we are going to consider the complete matrix, the diagonal component belongs to no error condition and all other conditional probabilities represent the condition of error. It is called the channel matrix, and we can say the channel matrix is a matrix in which the received information and transmitted information are considered in the terms of conditional probabilities, and this matrix can be drawn in the form of conditional probability with respect to x1 or y1 both. Okay, here we have considered the probability of y1 when x1 is transmitted. You can also consider the probability of x1 when y1 is received. In both terms it can be defined. This relation can be calculated by this channel matrix, since all the probabilities will be present here. Okay. Now, what is the mutual information? As I have said you that if you have calculated the average information that is transmitted, that is given by h of x, and we have calculated the uncertainty, okay, uncertainty that was given by this relation. See here, h of x by y is uncertainty in transmitted information. If you have transmitted information average hx and you have average amount of uncertainty, then definitely the mutual information can be defined as the difference of these two. Here the mutual information is defined at I of xy. I of xy just shows that we have considered the transmitted information uncertainty. Okay, it shows that transmitted information and uncertainty difference will be represented by this relation, and it is called mutual information. What is the significance of mutual information? It is the transmitted information average, it is the uncertainty average, then information or mutual information will be average received information. Okay. I of xy is called mutual information. We can also write I of y when we consider the mutual information in the terms of received message. If we consider the mutual, here it is not ixy, it is iyx. Okay. Let me correct it. We have calculated I of xy already. It must be written as I of yx. Okay. I of yx can be written as received information minus uncertainty, and it will be given as I of yx is equal to h of y minus h of y by x. Okay. Now let me explain the mutual information in the terms of channel. If it is transmitted and it is received, and for the time being just consider that the channel is, I have draw this channel by two lines since I want to show some information content relation. the amount of information can be transmitted in this part of channel, or we can say that it can be transmitted in this part of channel. If the width of the channel in our diagram is related to the information, then what we can say, that this line represents the maximum amount of information. Okay, so just remember this point, that the maximum information like this. Second, definitely the mutual information is equal for transmitter and receiver, since if we have transmitted an information and it is facing some loss, then it will be transmitted like this, and ultimately it will reach to receiver. Someone measures here the information I of xy, okay, and someone measure here I of yx. See, definitely if there is no additional effect, we have just calculated uncertainty and we consider that there is no additional effect excluding uncertainty. Okay, then what is the amount of information in this case? It will be same for transmitter and receiver. Due to this relation, we have written here I of xy is equal to I of yx. This is the definition of mutual information, and if you have to define mutual information, in each case you have to start from here, and this relation, now this is the summary, that the amount of mutual information is defined by this relation, and it is the amount of information from transmitting end, from receiving end. In both cases it must be same. Why I have drawn this? Actually, the channel capacity is directly related with the amount of mutual information. How? Let us consider. For our demonstrational purpose, I have drawn some amount of information, and I say that this amount of information is maximum. Okay. If this is the channel, can you transmit this information? Definitely no. Why? This information is beyond the channel limit. It shows that we can transmit maximum information, and the maximum information will be limited by channel. This is called channel capacity. And remember, it is not bandwidth, it is capacity. The bandwidth is related to frequency domain, but the capacity is related to data carrying capability. Okay, I will show you in next slide, but I am saying this since normal cases you draw the channel and you say it is bandwidth. Here we have considered the capacity, not bandwidth. Okay, let us consider. If you can see, the information from transmitting and receiving end both are same, as we have already said. But if the information goes on increasing, then there is a certain amount of information beyond which the information cannot be transmitted by this channel. Okay, due to which we can define the term channel capacity. Here it is. The channel capacity is the maximum amount of mutual information. We can write it maximum of I of xy, or we can also write it as max of Iyx, both are same. Okay. Since it is the difference of entropy, what is the unit entropy? Bits per symbol. Hence, the mutual information maximum value is defined as channel capacity in bits per symbol. It is called CS. Okay. If there are symbols per second, Then what is the channel capacity in bits per second? If we know the information in one symbol is I of xy, then what is the information in R symbols? R into CS definitely. Okay, let me explain you. The first relation shows the information in single symbol since it is written as bits per symbol. And the second relation shows that we are transmitting R symbols. If you are transmitting R symbols, then definitely we can multiply the symbols and information in one symbol. Then what is the unit? Bits per symbol and bits per second. Okay. The unit becomes bits per second, and let me explain you since it is a little bit important. You can also relate it with our data rate in daily life communication. I have said that CS is maximum value of mutual information, and hence its unit is bits per symbol, being the difference of entropy. What is the CR? We say R symbols per second. Okay. And what is the information content in single? We know that in the single symbol the information was CS. The unit was bits per symbol. Okay, you can see it can be cancelled out, and CR becomes R times CS. What is the unit? Bits per second or BPS. This is the term used in our day-to-day life communication or other applications where we refer the data speed for internet or voice or all other applications. You can see that in some cases we see the word kbps. It just shows that we are transmitting the data in kbps. In this case, the channel capacity is changed. Similarly, it can be mbps, but the phenomena is always same. We have a mutual information, it can be maximized, and we have symbols per second, they can be calculated, and both can be combined to find out a rate of bps, kbps or mbps depending upon our communication or depending upon our application. Okay, I think this will be helpful to understand the topic, and if there is any doubt, please comment in comment section or you can contact me personal also. Now we are going to end this video, and in our next video we will consider about the properties of code words and errors. Okay, thank you.